First, we're going to talk about filler words. So filler words are like narrative pauses. They're the written equivalent of and you don't need them almost ever. There are exceptions to every rule, and there are some times when one of these words or words like it make a critical difference to what a sentence or a paragraph means. 99.99% of the time, you can delete them and lose nothing in the sentence. So some specific examples of filler words that we've called out here are just, so, that, only, and really. These words do not mean anything. They don't make a sentence stronger or more clear. You could almost do a find of your whole document and delete every single one of them, and it would change very little. Here's an example of a passage that has some filler words in it. So I'd really like to spend some time with you today, but I don't know if you have anything else to do. I don't want there to be any misunderstandings. I totally want you to stay. It's just that I don't want to presume anything. Here's our edited version. I'd like to spend some time with you today, but I don't know if you have anything else to do. To be clear, I want you to stay, but I don't want to presume anything. So this is a little bit of a heavier edit than just taking away those filler words. But you can see we haven't lost anything. The only thing that we have done is brought clarity to what the author was trying to say in the first place. Now we're going to talk about filter words. Filter words are the words that remind the reader that they're reading a book. They're the words that get in between the character or the narrator and the reader and bump them out of the fictive dream. So some of those words that we've highlighted here: felt, remembered, thought, saw, realized, heard. All of these words remind your reader that they're reading a book. So let's look at the example. And heat flashes through my body, starting in my groin and taking over the rest of my limbs. I wonder if that innuendo was intentional. I can feel myself melting, and I realize that if I'm going to last, I need to think unsexy thoughts. So let's look at how we chose to edit this. Heat flashes through my body, starting in my groin and spreading to my limbs. Was that innuendo intentional? I am melting, and if I'm going to last, I need to think unsexy thoughts. You can see particularly that middle line that we have italicized, making it a question, has so much more impact in this passage. Like, it just hits so much harder to make it full, like, internal dialogue happening in the character's brain. Okay, so now we're going to talk about echo words. Unlike the previous two, these are not words that you can just find and replace in your manuscript. Echo words take a little bit more analysis to find. Echo words are words that are repeated close together. They can be rhymes, near rhymes, or alliteration, depending on how deep you want to get into echo words. The reason that we talk about this is because less is more in writing. So if you say something, particularly if you are saying something that is unique, if you're using less commonly used words or phrases, the second time you say it, the reader's going to notice. It's another thing that's going to pull them out of that fictive dream. They're going to say, what, didn't they just say that? Or even if they don't notice consciously and pause their reading, like, that repetition makes both times that you said it less impactful. So the less common the word, the more space it needs before you can repeat it. I'm sure you all know to some extent what your repeat offender words are as an author. The words that you use too much, the phrases that you use too much. And this is true for those that jump out, but it's also true for any other words. Okay, so here's our example. Once these girls get a taste of the real world, they'll start looking to other options. Kyle tapped his fingers on his leg and looked out the window. willing the other cars to move. So this is a little more subtle. The edit is once these girls get a taste of the real world, they'll start looking to other options. Kyle tapped his finger on his leg and glared at the other cars, willing them to move. So you can see the big edit that we made was Kyle tapping his fingers, and looked and looking is obviously an echo that we identified. Looked out the window is an empty phrase. It doesn't really mean anything. Glaring out the window tells us something about his attitude, his current mental state, his something. It has something to say about Kyle in a way that looked doesn't. So it's both solving the echo word problem and contributing to Kyle's characterization and development here.
Now we're going to talk about adverbs. An adverb is a word that either modifies another modifier or modifies a verb. In this case, we're talking about adverbs that are modifying verbs. So two of the issues that we often see with adverbs, we're very suspicious of adverbs, is that adverbs are either propping up a weak verb, and you would be better served by deleting both and replacing both the adverb and the weak verb with a stronger verb. Or the adverb isn't really adding anything to the verb. It basically is like repeating the verb in an adverb form. And in that case also, either just delete the adverb entirely or delete both and choose a better verb. So what we want your adverbs to do, because adverbs have a place, is they need to add surprise or nuance to what you're saying. Killing me softly hits because it's a surprise, right? Because we don't expect to be killed softly. Softly is not something that we typically associate with killing. If it were killing me brutally or killing me cruelly, like, what is that really bringing to the table that killing isn't already saying? Or that couldn't be better said by slaughtering or butchering. So that's where we want you to be very critical of your adverbs. Are they just propping up a weak verb? Or are they just repeating what you've already said? If so,
Get them out.
take them out of there. They got to be working. Every word in your manuscript needs to be doing a job. And if it's not, kick it to the curb. So here's an example. I run my fingers lightly over his arms, feeling his muscles flexing tightly. I inhale sharply. Slowly, his lips leave my neck. He quickly removes his pants. Here's the edit. I trace my fingers over his arms, and his muscles tighten. I gasp. Slowly, his lips leave my neck. He shucks his pants. The beautiful thing about self-editing is you're making these choices because you know your story.
Right.
And any good editor is hopefully also going to understand the tone of what you're writing and edit congruently with your tone. Because the goal is not to make all the books sound the same. It is just to make your book sound more like you.